So once you've completed your first challenge, your next challenge is to have it display speed and to have it calculate the distance regardless of how far yours traveled. Now, you may not be able to complete the second one if you're using an iPad or perhaps some of the other programs, the iOSs or the OS, excuse me, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right, so here we're at. We've got the motors moving a certain amount of rotations, and your numbers are different than mine. I'll give it away. Depends on the size of your wheel anyway. And then it displays the text, and then it also had oh wait, disappeared, a weight at the end so that it'll continue to display the text. So the first thing I want you to add is a timer. Okay, so the timers are, let's see if we can find it. It's under the yellow, and they look like this, a little clock. And so what you want to do is you first have to tell it to use the timer. So we're going to drag that up, and you want it to start recording, and you'll see why I want you to do this. But you want to know exactly how long it took. You don't want to sit there with like a stopwatch and time it. And so I want you to find out how to tell me exactly how long it took for this thing to move. Okay. All right. So we've got our timer right here, and this just tells us it's timer one. The first thing I want you to do is reset it. It's kind of like saying, hey, look, here's a timer. It exists. We're calling it timer one. Then move however long we're going to move it for. Now, let's have it display the actual distance. And you can do this if you want to, but what we're going to do is you're going to go to the red one, which is math, and you'll see a one that looks like this. Now, if you don't have a red one, you'll just have to do this by hand. Okay, so what we're going to do is take the number of rotations, and we're going to change this to multiplication, and we're going to divide it by the circumference. So say, for instance, my circumference was 7.9 centimeters. Okay, so that means I went one rotation. That's what mine says for 7.9 centimeters. These two numbers should be the same. Okay, the 1 and the 1. The number of rotations should be the same as this. And the order doesn't matter. Okay, so the reason why we're going to do that and have it calculate it for us is then the next thing that I'm going to do is we are going to put something in between. Or, sorry, no, we're not. We are going to, we're going to change up this distance. First thing you want to do is make it wired. Okay, I can still take text and pixels. We are going to have it display this number, and I can show you afterwards how we can actually incorporate an additional text box. So it'll say distance, and then it'll say this. Okay, but we're going to drag this. When you see this little puzzle piece out here, this is an output, and we need to put it to an input, something like that. So this will find whatever the number is. This is how many centimeters you've traveled, and move it there. And then it'll display it for a certain amount of seconds, which is great. Now, what I want us to do is if we are going to record the time that it took to travel, we don't want to include this right here. So what we're going to do is say we've got this timer in the background at timer 1. I'm going to put it right there. And we're going to measure the time of timer 1. Okay. After this, so this will stop the timer right there and record a time. The timer's going to keep going, but it's going to record a time right there. It'll be like, as soon as you stop, and you can put it here or here, it doesn't matter. As soon as these rotations stop, it's going to record the time. And so I want you to go further and then have it not display the distance anymore, but I want you to have it display the speed in centimeters per second.